Hey everyone, welcome to the Gaming X. Today we'll be taking a quick look at our review for budget title Gunhouse on the Nintendo Switch. Now this actually debuted way back on PlayStation Mobile in 2014, but with the closure of PlayStation Mobile, it's found its new home on the Nintendo Switch. So this is part tower defense, part puzzle game, as you are tasked with defeating giant bosses and alien invaders as they try and steal your orphan friends. Yes, the limited story is definitely crazy, but it's in all the right ways. Now before we do jump into our review, if you like what you see today, then hit like and even consider hitting subscribe. We will have new reviews and news for you every Monday, Thursday and Saturday, covering the Nintendo Switch, the PlayStation 4 and of course the Xbox One. Now with that being said, let's take a look if this refreshes the tower defense formula on the Nintendo Switch. So let's talk graphics, and visually speaking it's definitely going to be an acquired taste. It's one though I personally loved. Exaggerated hand-drawn characters, neon colours fill your screen, over-the-top enemies. It's got everything a game needs to feel unique in such a oversaturated market, especially when it's tower defense and puzzle. Now the unique visuals perfectly embody the storyline as well, and they've added some truly great visual flourishes, such as the enemy attacks, or when you return fire. It keeps a game feeling fresh when it's essentially a matter of creating block combinations in a Tetris style layout on the right side of the screen. Now these visuals are designed to overwhelm your senses, and here they truly succeed. It's a visual treat to behold, and stylistically it's up there with the best I've seen in quite some time. So gameplay and how does this one play is a question I imagine everyone is asking, and it's relatively simple once you get a few stages deep. Unfortunately, there's definitely a learning curve here, and the game does not do a fantastic job in making you feel supported in these very early opening levels. What I'm going to try and do here is try and sum this up, which is more difficult than it sounds. So it's a turn-based game. You'll make combinations of blocks which reward you with ammunition for your weaponry on the left and right side of your house. Left is just simple fire modes and missiles, and right are special attacks. After this section is complete, enemies will begin to advance, and you will use your earned attacks to defend and protect the house and orphans. As you progress though, time's going to become more valuable, enemies become quicker, and boss battles become overwhelming. Now I hope that makes sense to some degree. It's not an easy game to describe. It's built from two very unique gameplay styles, but what I can say to a certain degree is it does work. Unfortunately, my biggest problem with the gameplay is actually down to one of their main advertising features, the unlimited levels. And yes, it is completely true. Unfortunately though, I do find the gameplay wore thin relatively quickly. It has very limited scope in the way of gameplay when it comes to the puzzle or tower defense. They're both very basic. When you jump into the game, after them first initial levels, you feel like it should be increasing and giving you more and more commands and options. Unfortunately though, this is not the case. This is going to be simple repetition, doing the same thing over and over again. Overall, when it comes to gameplay, it definitely functions. They both work, and they work quite well together, the two gameplay modes. Unfortunately, we just don't see enough development. There's not enough engagement for me as a player. So audio, and this is by far my favourite area of this game. The audio is incredible. There is sound effects of course, but they're very limited and they don't need to be really developed for the nature of the game. But it's the soundtrack where this one comes to life. Composed by Fez composer Disaster Piece, I had this one hooked up to my soundbar, filling my house. They've delivered a soundtrack which is catchy, but it also embodies the unique art style and humour of the game. It's a fantastic piece of work, and it's one I would listen to even if I wasn't playing this title. Honestly, the soundtrack would last longer than the game. It's a fantastic piece of work. So final verdict, and Gunhouse is one of the more stylistic games I've seen in some time, and it's accompanied by an incredible soundtrack. Unfortunately, however, you will see through this quickly just a few levels in, as repetition kicks in. Gunhouse does very little to bring anything new to the table for either genre. Now I had fun with my time in the world of Gunhouse, but instead of utilising those random generation levels to provide unlimited gameplay, I wish they'd invested more time in developing the gameplay to give us some form of progression and more involvement rather than just the same thing over and over again. It's an interesting combination of gameplay styles which they make work, especially when you're playing in handheld mode. It just feels intuitive, and I did really want to like this one. Now if puzzle or tower based combat is your thing, then I'd consider this game, as there's nothing out there quite like it. Unfortunately though, for me, neither the puzzle or the tower defense is close to the best in these genres, and honestly I'd rather pick up one tower defense game and one puzzle game rather than opt into this combination. The Gaming X awards Gunhouse a 6 out of 10. Now if you like what you saw today, then consider hitting subscribe. We have some great titles coming up, and if there's anything in particular you want to see on our channel, let us know in the comments below. We'll see you on the next Gaming X.